So what NPR wants you to do, just to be clear, is if you are attacked by violent criminal rioters who attempt to pull you and your kids out of your car, damage or destroy your property, just sit there and take it, according to NPR. Don't you worry whatsoever. The media, of course, is enjoying sowing racial animus in the country because it really leads to better bottom lines. The more pieces you can write, calling everyone in America you don't agree with a white supremacist, a Nazi, and other things, they don't really care. May I take a point of personal privilege here? I'm sorry. Again, the personal stories sometimes matter. Some of you don't like them. Some of you do, but it's important. So last night, getting ready to hit the sack. It had been a long day. I just finished Hannity. I think Paula was brushing her teeth or whatever. And she's like, these people are amazing. What were we actually talking? You remember what we were talking about? It was something about the protests, how the media during the protests, the George Floyd protest, didn't care at all about the virus, as if the virus cares about what kind of protest. The virus doesn't care. It's not even alive. It doesn't think, okay? But we were saying how we had predicted that the media would celebrate the George Floyd protest because they think there's a political advantage in it for them. And yet when Trump had a rally, they would attack them saying this is deadly for people who show. And we predicted it and it doesn't matter. Like the media doesn't care. So I was trying to explain to Paula, because she was genuinely upset last night, that the media is always lying and nobody calls them out. And she's like, I don't get it. Like, are they even embarrassed? And I'm like, no, they're not embarrassed at all. It was something CNN had done too. She was asking me, honestly, she's like, aren't they like horrified? Oh, I remember. You had asked me about the wall. Yes, the wall. So CNN, which of course did months of pieces on how walls don't work. Remember that, Joe? Walls, border walls, they don't work. That's old technology. Yeah, so's fire and the wheel and the inclined plane, the pendulum. Those are all old technologies too, but we still use those. Electricity's an old technology too, Joe. Did you know that? Didn't happen yesterday. Yeah.
Nope.
We still use that. Still works pretty good. The whole wheel thing, the wheels on the bus go around. That's old technology. CNN for months ramping. Walls is stupid. Walls don't work. Oh, it's old stuff. Old technology. You're all idiots. So CNN built a wall around its headquarters in Atlanta. I'm not kidding. Not a joke. You can check out the pictures on Twitter. So Paula's like, aren't they embarrassed? I'm like, no, they're not embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm like, I deeply care about you, Miss Paula. But why are you pretending these people have any dignity? They don't care. If on my show, I spent months telling you walls didn't work, I would be then embarrassed to build a wall around my house. Of course, I said walls do work, so I wouldn't be embarrassed at all. But I would be horrified if I had to backtrack. They don't care. They are just outwardly lying. If they're forced to retract or put an editor's note in, they will, but they don't care. Why? Because by the time they write a dumb story and get it out there, it'll travel around the ecosystem of ideas and people will believe it's true. And then when they retract or put an editor's note in days later, nobody will see it. They don't care. They're not embarrassed. These people are enemies of truth. They don't care. We're in like The Walking Dead right now, where you can argue with them all you want. They are attacking the truth. They don't care. You can't fight back with facts. There are no facts that are going to bother them. You think I'm making this up? How genuinely awful these people are? Not only did you pay for this Trump team to be spotted, you paid NPR for this garbage. Look at this tweet. This is a real tweet, by the way. We're not messing with you. From NPR, which your taxpayer dollars finance. At NPR, right-wing extremists are turning cars into weapons with reports of at least 50 vehicle ramming incidents since the protests erupted nationwide in late May. And look at the picture they use. Some of you on the YouTube are figuring this out. Where's that picture from? Oh, Charlottesville, where a lunatic ran over that woman and killed her. Folks, this is gross. This is absolutely gross. Gross. So just to be clear, what NPR is suggesting, they're trying to aggravate racial animus because they profit from it, NPR. And I don't mean profit necessarily bottom line. They get eyeballs and their ideology wins the day. So they inflame a hostile situation. What they're referring to, And the original photo they used was a photo in Louisville where a woman was cornered by violent, raging criminals while in her car. One of them who allegedly had a firearm. In her effort to get away, she hit one of these protesters to save her life. That was the picture they used originally. And when they got busted using that, they put up the picture of Charlottesville to inflame an already hostile situation. You don't believe me? Here's from NPR.org. This is the headline. These people are lunatics. Vehicle attacks rise as extremists target protesters. Do you believe this? Violent extremist rioters are surrounding people's cars, attacking them, damaging their property as they try to get away to save themselves from assault or potential death. If they happen to hit a protester, the absolute lunatic maniacs at NPR are describing you as the violent extremist. What's their evidence? That these are extremists in the cars trying to save their lives? Their evidence is that there are 50 plus incidents of people trying to escape violent rioters. So, Joe, if there were 50 incidents, they were all white supremacists, I would guess, right? That's NPR's premise, right? Violent,
probably,
Joe, violent right-wing extremists are running people over. It's interesting. When you dig into the article, you find out, I have an article about the Federalist about this. If you actually dig into the data, that in 32 of those 50 incidents, the driver wasn't even charged. Well, why wouldn't the driver be charged? Maybe because they were being attacked by lunatics? I'm just saying. What we also find out is of these 50 incidents, again, we're 32 where no one was even charged because they were trying to get away from people attacking them. But NPR tells the story. They're not embarrassed by telling you the story backwards at all, by the way. I don't expect this to change NPR even one bit. Out of those 50, clearly, 48 of them were radical white supremacists. There was one incident where this individual had a connection to some what they call extremist group. One. So remember, Joe, there is a mass outbreak of violent white supremacists running down people in America, of which they can document one incident.
They're 49 short. You know, I mean, jeez.
What do you know? Well said, Joe. What do you know? They're 49 short. They don't even have a majority. They don't have a plurality. They don't have anything. They have one. But again, NPR. So what NPR wants you to do, just to be clear, is if you are attacked by violent criminal rioters who attempt to pull you and your kids out of your car, damage or destroy your property, just sit there and take it, according to NPR. Don't you worry whatsoever.
You just heard Dan Bongino.